Greetings, I am Earth Faith. The name of this show is Mr. Speaker, and yet I speak for myself. The question before us today is, what's going on after the elections? Well, in Bakersfield, of course, home of Congressman Kevin McCarthy, what a surprise this election was. Maybe not a surprise for the congressman, our good congressman, who has been, paying his dues, for quite a while, at least 10 years, paying his dues, to become someday Speaker of the House. This man, one thing he knows how to do is wait for that job. This may not be the year. It may well be the year the Republicans will be, in charge, but it'll be a slim majority. We're looking at maybe 222 votes. You need 218, to break even and control the House. 222. You're talking about, maybe 4 or 5 votes more than what you need minimum. So this is an extremely slim majority. Even if you are the Speaker of the House, you may not actually be controlling anything, especially with the rules changes demanded by the hard right, because of President Trump. They're calling him like hard right. I don't know. I can tell you what that means. It doesn't mean anything for Republicans in Bakersfield, obviously. This is a battle between President Trump and Congressman McCarthy. And as I said, one thing the good congressman knows how to do is wait for that job, Speaker of the House. Now, this has been quite a drama, a melodrama, and we're in California, so it's all right to be, mellow, but not to be melodramatic. But remember, Paul Pelosi, is the husband of Nancy Pelosi, who currently is the Speaker of the House. He was whacked in the head by some kind of a household friend or something. We don't know. It's San Francisco, and we just don't know if this was some kind of a romance between these two males. The alleged perpetrator and Paul Pelosi, they were struggling for the hammer, and between the two of them, we don't know who pulled out the hammer, whether Paul Pelosi pulled out this hammer or the perpetrator pulled out the hammer, but they were struggling for the hammer, and the young man eventually got control of the hammer and whacked the unfortunate incident where he hit Paul Pelosi. So look, the whole thing in California was supposed to be a regular transition of power between generations, between Nancy Pelosi, who is, hitting on 80 years old, I guess, like Joe Biden, and, a generation down to, a little bit younger, still older than me, Congressman McCarthy, and all within the state of California, from San Francisco to Bakersfield, as far as the Speaker of the House. So as far as people in California are concerned, a lot of us, these are characters that we know over many, many years, both of them. And, you can add to that our esteemed Governor Gavin Newsom. These are all people we hear about, every day, so it's just, part of the air in California to hear these names, Kevin McCarthy, Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom. Unfortunately, we lost Kamala Harris to, the vice presidency in Washington, so she probably won't be representing California, anytime soon. But I tell you, here's the thing that basically the Trump Republicans saw this House representatives. These are capitalists. Basically, the Trump Republicans are capitalists. They go where they think the money is. They thought the money was in the White House, so they moved from New York, high finance, to Washington, D.C., and pretty much, had a good meal there, even, a military assault on our Congress. Uh, and then this year, somehow they got it into their heads that there would be a big feast with regards to the speakership of the House, and why don't we get something out of that? Either take the job of Speaker away from Kevin McCarthy, or get as many concessions that they're demanding, these concessions that would, basically virtually take his power away and give it to these Trump Republicans. Despite the elections, mind you, Trump lost these midterm elections in terms of many of his candidates were losers. Some of these cases are still undecided. Of course, some of the exceptions, J.D. Vance, I believe that was Ohio, the Trump Republican. This is just kind of a blue collar disenchantment, kind of like Reagan Republicans basically disenchanted J.D. Vance, an esteemed author, by the way, but wrote a book about, kind of Midwest, kind of a steel mill being shut down kind of book. Kind of Bruce Springsteen might be the best example for J.D. Vance. Now, this was a Trump Republican, disenchanted blue collar voters. But as far as, the capitalistic aspect of, maybe there's a party going on here, apparently it turned out not to be much of a party, because basically, it was, the intruders were at the party, feasting, before we could get the party started in Bakersfield, at least. So what that means is that there's no guarantee that that Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker of the House this year, or that he will want to be Speaker of the House until he gets more of a majority. Earth Faith here, signing off.